Hey friend, Iacopo here and
Alessia!
She's my wife. She's always like this. That's why we work well together. Today we want to share with you how we run our business, which is making 10 to 30K a month. We don't have a team. We work 3 to 4 hours a day. We only produce the content that we like and we get inbound leads. I'm going to explain everything in a second. But before we start, let's make sure that you are the right watcher, because this video is not for people at the beginning of their online business journey. Nothing wrong with that. We love you guys. We are changing the world, but you have so many skills now that you need to grow and learn. This video is a little bit advanced. And this video is also not for people that want to grow their business no matter what. They want to grind it out and have big financial goals. Doesn't mean that we're not going to make big financial goals, but if that is your only goal and you don't really prioritize your time in this phase of life, this video is not going to be super beneficial for you. This video is mainly for people like us right now, people that are already full-time in the business for a few years. We have grinded it out, but now we are prioritizing time, ease of living, ease of working, profit, and working without a team. So this is, if you are interested about gaining all of this, living this way, doing the things you love, this is the video for you.
In a way, we want to make you think about what to prioritize first. As much as we've loved our business, as much as I loved my business the way it was, it gave me anxiety all the time. So here, what we want to do is to, as I said, reprioritize.
We want to start by giving you a little bit of context, because who are these two people? Like, if this is the first video you see from us, you might thinking, why should I listen to you? Like, I would ask that question. So maybe you've known a YouTube channel called Lazy Dancer Tips, where this girl, my wife, we grew a YouTube channel to 228,000 subscribers. And also back in 2018, we grew a business attached to it as well. That business was doing great. At the peak of our success, we were managing a team of 7. We were making 30 to 40K plus each month, but we were running constantly a machine that was a beast. We were growing a dragon. We were growing a beast that was eating us alive. Why?
But don't get us wrong. We got to that point because we were consistent. We put our effort into it every single day. But there was a point where that effort, like Iacopo said, starting to eat us alive, where the energy that we were putting in was not giving the energy coming back. So when you started rethinking about where the balance was, well, in that one specific, there was no balance.
Picture this. We would wake up in the morning thinking about all of the massive list of to-do tasks that we had to go through. The team needed information. We needed to strategize for the next month, the next promotion.
Next month, next year, because we had yearly launches, monthly launches. We needed to organize it. We had the email list to constantly nurture. We had videos that had to come out every single week with a specific call to action based on the launch that we were going to do that month. To me, it started becoming, as much as I loved growing that channel and giving to people their dancing, their beautiful moments, I started only thinking about how do we pay everyone? How do we support everyone? How do we grow? Where is the money coming from? What can we do to actually grow it bigger if this is not enough to actually pay all the bills and the people that work with us?
So much so that we invested in coaching, we invested in masterminds as well. And the latest mastermind we invested in, at the end of the cycle, I've asked the host of a mastermind, how do we double our business? Because I think we reached capacity. There's not much we can do anymore. And we got told that if we wanted to double our output, we needed to triple or quadruple the input. And that was, for me, when it felt like they stole my toys, and I felt like I really lost a relative that moment. I had to grieve a little bit. And that led us to basically 2 years of wandering around thinking about what we were gonna do with our life, honestly, arguing all the time. And we didn't know how to fix this until it came to us. we started tapping from our intuition. And this is the reason why we really work together. She used to freak out at me every time there is something wrong, but I never listened until the moment where she couldn't take it anymore, so I started listening. As men, we usually do that. We are very mission driven, but thankfully we have our women to give us some insight on the emotional state of things. And I finally started listening and asking my brain different questions. For example, how do I stop creating videos every week? How do I stop creating promotions every month?
But also, how do I stop my nervous system to being so constantly running 100% where I feel anxious, where I feel that I'm not doing enough, or where I feel that everything is somehow not in control of what we do. I still remember that day when our family came over. So imagine this, picture this. Our family came over after so many months that we didn't see them. It's like, I was surprised we're coming over to see you. And after we took them around the beautiful city that we live in, which is Verona, we spent a fantastic day. We said, well, why don't you come back to our place to have a coffee? Only then I realized that when they all walked in, when they all were standing around my lounge,
This room, by the way.
I had actually no place where to sit them. Everyone was sitting either on the floor or hanging next to the wall or kind of finding cushions, and everyone was feeling so uncomfortable. I felt super uncomfortable because this room and this way of living was not fitting how I wanted to show up for my family, for the people that I love, for the guests that I wanted to come into the place. This place was
a dance studio
with cameras and lights. And I said, I'm changing, I've changed, and I want everything that we worked for to actually serve us, not to be in the way of how I want to feel. So this is the time where I went, I can't have people coming over and feeling so uncomfortable. I can't feel so uncomfortable. We need to change. We need to change the whole model. We need to change what we do and how we do it based on our needs, our values, the way we felt. And so we started rethinking the business model. Isn't it incredible? When the universe tells you exactly what you don't want and how you don't want to feel, it's the different research. So the business needed to change as well.
I feel like the universe always tells you what you need, and when you don't listen, it increases the volume. In fact, it increased the volume so much that we burned out and had to think differently. But thankfully, we find ourselves now a business that does not have any team, it's just us, and we can manage it very well. We don't have monthly promotions the way we used to. We don't have 1 million funnels. We don't have 1 million products. We only have one single offer, one invisible funnel, which I'm gonna tell you a bit more later. And the way we serve people is completely different because we only serve a specific class of people in our own terms. So this sounds way too good to be true. So in order for us to explain to you how we've done it, we just distilled it down to 3 main pillars that we want to unpack for you so that maybe you can gain some ideas and see where your business is at and how you can apply what feels good. Not everything, we don't claim we know everything because we don't, but we found something that worked for us by tapping to our intuition, and I want you to have a look and see what your heart says when we are mentioning these things and see if it can work for you as well. The 3 main pillars of our method, the way we do things. Let's start with the first one, discovery. Discovery is everything we do to get discovered. Social media. If you are growing a personal brand, I guess you are posting content on the platforms, maybe all the platforms, because that's what we did when we started. We were on Instagram, on Facebook, on Pinterest, on YouTube. We had a mailing list, we had it all. Fortunately, we focused on YouTube, but the way we focused on YouTube, or any other platform for that matter, was based on vanity metrics. For whatever reason, I believed at the beginning that if I grew the channel as much as possible, money would come somehow. And that is a recipe for failure, so I don't recommend it. But having a specific goal and being consistent on trying to reach that goal gets you a result no matter what. So we had a ton of results. We had followers on the YouTube channel, we had watch time, we had views, we were growing an audience. But what happened was that in order to create that audience, it was a huge amount of effort for attracting as many people as possible within our niche. Our niche at the time was ballet for adults. 1.5 years before we started selling anything, and when we launched our membership, only a handful of people signed up. Then of course we spent the next few years understanding how marketing works, but it was really like a push energy around everything. Push the funnel, make sure it's got a upsell, a downsell, a cross-sell, email sequences to sell something else. It was exhausting because it needed a lot of energy to work. And that of course is a big problem, because if you don't want to do that, what is the alternative? We found that the alternative, it's much better. If you focus your messaging in a way that speaks not to everybody, but to a specific class of people, there are your dream clients. You speak in a very different way, your content feels very different, and only a few people will respond. So instead of trying to be liked by millions of people, we started trying to be loved by very few people, but selected. To give you an example, even in our coaching business and our coaching brand, Profitable Talents, this channel, we are using exactly the same principle. I'm not trying to speak with everybody that is trying to make money online, because that's a very, very broad niche, and there is maybe the professional that wants to build a side hustle and needs information, but there is the online entrepreneur that is trying to, yes, still make more money, but in a different way. So the way you create content and the way you name your titles, you use your hooks in a specific way, it all comes down to messaging. For example, if I made a video about how I made $1 million selling digital products, would attract probably a lot of people, assuming I can back that up. And we can, because we've done that. But I don't want to do it, because I don't want to have a flood of anyone to watch my videos. I want to speak with specific type of people. I want to speak with people that are already making money, but they were in a situation we were a few years ago, where they have to manage a team, they don't have time for themselves, and they're really stressed. Yes, they're making money, but they have overhead, they have expensive, they hate launching because they've done it so many times, they hate their life and they want to get out of it, almost they want to quit. This is the people I want to talk to. So instead of using titles like how I made $1 million selling digital products, I can use a different title like how we made $1 million without a team and without stress, and building a business around our lifestyle. Now, this is a very long title, but I give you some ideas on keywords that you can use to really make sure that the content is more tailored to a specific type of audience, and the right people will come. Pillar number 2 is called nurture. Nurture is a very big sphere of an online business. Do you remember when we did all of those launches, what did we do? We created a free event most of the time, around something that our audience wanted. We had a 6-week run rate to get people to register to it, so that we had to create a landing page for the registration plus email sequences on the back end.
Create the right videos that had the right CTAs to go into it. There was an opt-in page, so we had people coming in and we had everyone in the email list. So I would group them and to then have them into a community, temporary community, and then the community, so they could get all the notification. It was a very complicated machine. Loved it. It was actually quite fun to put together. Yeah. Also, especially when you have 100 and 150 people all at once in your Zoom calls dancing around together. But every time doing something like this, the effort and the outcome of those efforts were not quite matching what we had in mind.
And everything was based on getting as many people as possible live, for giving them a taste of what they could do with us. But this free event, if you think about it, if you've already done something like that, you know what you're doing. You are Well, if you're doing webinars, it's basically a 90 minutes pitch. We didn't do that. We did like more like workshop styles where Alessia were teaching more than selling and only mentioning things at the end. But the experience of the live was mainly around Alessia, so it's proximity to the host, the coach, the teacher. It's a taste of how they can do the things that they were trying to do with a simple model. So Alessia would introduce her way of teaching, and at the end, a call to action, right? So instead of doing launches, which are very powerful, don't get me wrong, they are, but they're very exhausting as well, we started saying, okay, why don't we create content that does the same job of a webinar, just in a longer term? So for this channel, for example, we started creating content that was about us, content that told the story of how we did the pivot, what we struggled with, how we can help others in a very personal and genuine way. Just really trying to building relationship with the watcher.
But also imagine how you show up for people. I want you to picture this. Isn't it much easier for you to start a conversation of something that you absolutely love, something that you enjoy? Your energy is so contagious that the only thing that you want to do is share from your heart, share from everything that comes from it inside, and you want to give it out to people and share that energy with others, rather than thinking, now I need to do a webinar, now I have to put this, and I have to sell, I have to put this into mind, because if I don't get a sale, it's gonna be the end of it. The energy, as you can see, shifts. It shifted from the giver and I wanted to that energy to coming back into the taker. I need it, I want it, I have to, because I'm desperate. So the energy that you actually share with the viewer, there is something more than just I have to have it, I am desperate, into I want to just share what I've gone through and what I have, because I love it. I know it's beneficial for you. There is no strings attached. I don't care if you're coming over and enjoying my membership and my one-on-one, my co-creation, whatever I have available for you. It's just there. It's your choice. I have no wish for you to just having to have you in my program.
It's about setting different standards for yourself as well. You don't want to convince people. I personally don't want to convince anyone. And if I hear someone asking questions like, are you a certified coach, or are you, how are you different from other people? Like, I don't think what I have is for you. Like, this is the feeling that I want to have, so that I can be free to be genuine and authentic in my content and with my clients. The beauty of this different, energetically different type of content, it's also that it basically pre-sells people on you and your method. So that when people reach out to you automatically, without a funnel, you are already speaking with people that are ready to go. And it's a much different energy. You don't have to hire a setter and a closer because you need to persuade them, build rapport, and do all of the things that your content is already doing. So that for us was a complete change of life, when we didn't have to have all of these launches and just speak from the heart, create videos, be consistent on social media, but about the things that we love and enjoy sharing. Pillar number 3, we call it impact.
I don't know why I came out with that.
So the way we created products back in the days was with the usual value ladder model.
I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Yes.
The usual bro marketer, hey, this is exactly how we're gonna do it, which it works. It's fine. If you have a big audience, you know, it was actually working very well for Lazy Dancer Tips, but it just kind of became this spaghetti monster that we could not hold anymore.
No, because if you're familiar with the value ladder, you know, you have a content that pushes people to a free resource, a free lead magnet, and then you have a mini course on a thank you page, and then maybe an upsell on a checkout page, and then you have a flagship course maybe, and then that leads to a membership maybe. And then you have a group coaching, a higher touch, and then you have a one-to-one layer as well, and then you have a mastermind as well. Now, if you put it on paper, it looks amazing. The Ascension ladder, Ascension model works. But when you actually do it, it feels like, at least it felt for us, that every time you add a vertical, every single product is a vertical. It's like you need to create a mini business beside each vertical, because every course needs its own little funnel. Every product needs its own delivery. You need to take care of the people. And if you are spread out
too thin
about trying to create content and deliver all of the things that you deliver, even if it's all passive, like when we were doing 30 to 40K a month, you were doing 0 one-to-one, 0 group coaching. Everything was pre-recorded. Shouldn't that be easy? Well, it wasn't, because we had to feed the monster with more and more funnel, more and more people. Whether if you have a different way, which is something that I want to show you with you in a second, you don't need any of that. And with one offer, you can accomplish way more. Now, a new model that we found was not through an Ascension ladder, or at least not in the same type of Ascension. Every time you create a new product in a value ladder, it's a completely separate product. So that creates complexity, because you need to connect the product somehow. The complexity we created at the beginning was insane. I have pictures of my organization. I'm probably going to show it to you, like in glimpses of images, that just to organize the thing. I don't want to do that anymore. I know how to use Kajabi so well, because I had to make sense of the monster. It was all created in Kajabi, and it's insane what it can do, but I don't want to deal with that. I just want to do something, let it sit and work by itself.
So I think the word of the day is simplification.
Simplification.
So how do we get rid of the spaghetti monster and the anxiety that came with it into the simplifying everything into one thing?
What I want my offer to be is something that it's easy to deliver for me, that produces monthly recurring revenue, that creates the best type of results for my clients, and it doesn't take me a long time to deliver and to manage. So how do we do that? Because it sounds amazing. Well, if you had a look at your product suite right now, and you could pick just one of the products, or maybe a combination of the products, deliver to the best client you've ever had in your life, what product would that be? Because for me, especially for me, it's not for everyone, but I really love one-to-one, because I don't know, maybe because I'm naturally an introvert, I work better with one-to-one, I go deeper, and I like to go deeper. Some people like to do group coaching, they're more like one-to-many. So you have to choose. There's no one thing to do things, but it's more like tapping from our intuition again. Like, what is my element? And my element to me is one-to-one relationships. So I wanted to have a coaching offer that was one-to-one. But how do I do it that it's scalable? Great. First of all, it's going to be high ticket, so that I can have the right resources for me to focus 100% of each of my clients without stretching myself too thin, and offer as much as I can within my lifestyle. My lifestyle, what is it? We want to travel, we want to spend time with the family, we want to have money to don't think about money. And I don't want to be chained to my desk all day. Actually, I don't even have a desk anymore. This is a table that we moved for this video. I have a laptop, and sometimes I can just run with my phone and maybe a camera and a light, and not even that. That is what I want. So how do we make that happen? This is what we've done. We've done something that we call access. It's an access model, which means that our one-to-one offer is a one-to-one level of access. And if I wanted to create a different product to scale it, I can remove the one-to-one access and give a group access, which means it's the same exact offer, but if I want to have a group for the same offer, I can just add 1 more hour in a week, and I would serve more people with it.
The most important thing that you want to put into place is you. So you're thinking about the business on how it fits in your lifestyle is the very first important part of the puzzle. For us, priorities have changed. We put ourselves first to see what we could do and how we could live our life. We loved the business that we had, but it was time to declutter. One of the questions that we never ask ourselves is, how do I want my life to be? How do I want to live it? How do I see it? How do I picture it? And maybe that life is just so close to you, just around the corner. The only thing that you need to do is prioritize you. Declutter what doesn't fit in your life anymore. Getting rid of team members. Unfortunately, sorry, sometimes that happens because it doesn't fit with what we want to do moving forward. It means to get rid of some of the products that you've put together that are draining your energy, the energy that you want to give, but you don't have anymore. So thinking about your business or how you can tailor it in order for you to take the energy also from the business and then being able to give it back and also live your life in the way you want it. That is how we want you to think about your next chapter of your life.
Just to give you some perspective, before we were making like something like $20,000 to $45,000 a month, which on paper was amazing. But we had to pay the team. We were constantly chained to our desk.
Software?
The house looked like a freaking media agency house. We were like a television studio. And yeah, we could have the money to travel, but we didn't have the time. That was 90% expenses as well. Right? So now we transformed everything. We make less money because when you have less traffic, of course, naturally, the input is less, right? But when you make 10 to 20K a month with 90+ % profit, that is more than before. But you've removed all of the expenses, all of the stress. And to me, I prefer that a million times. But also knowing that this system is scalable in a nice way because the model is different. So now every day, I wake up in the morning thinking about myself first. Probably go to the gym, we have coffee in the morning, we discuss about things, maybe we read, we go out, it's a beautiful day, we go out. Then we take care of our clients. With Voxer or with Zoom, we really enjoy the sessions, and everything that comes out from the session sometimes gives us ideas for new videos that you want to share. Because guess what? Your clients will give you ideas about what to speak about in your videos, in your podcast, in your blogs, in whatever social media you're doing, because it's in line with the same type of people that you want to attract. I don't want to speak to beginners, for example, so I need to know what the language of the dream clients that I want to attract is, and then create more and more content around that. The more I define it, the more people are attracted to what we are saying because we speak their language. And it's a spinning wheel that keeps on going without us having to kill ourselves to make a great living serving others. I created this brand because I was behind the scenes of our first business for so long that I wanted to share what I learned. But now I wanted to share it in a way that made sense for the journey that we've had. And I want Alessia as well with me because she's my emotional compass. You might have noticed that she's my energy magnifying lens, so that I know that when I need to tap into my intuition, and I'm very good with structure and remove complexity and simplifying it. So this is why we work really well together. And our passion it's always been helping others. In the ballet world, you wanted to help your younger self. When I started this channel, I wanted to help people making money if they were not. But now I really want to help other creators like us, the doers, the people that are trying to help others. They are grinding it out. They're making money, but they need to regain the control of their life in a way that feels good, in a way that they can still do what they love, but profitably, sustainably, and having fun as well, because why not? Why can't we have both? At the moment, we have a co-creation program where we only accept people one-to-one for a minimum of 4 months. If you want to know how we can do all of this process together, just follow the link in the description below. There is more detail there and an application form. If you feel like you resonate with everything we said, it would be amazing to have a chat and see where we are.
Let this energy, like the very first time that you've created your business, shine through. Remember what you need to do right now to find that energy again. It's actually closer than you think. And whenever you're ready to jump on a co-creation with us of this new chapter of your life, you know where we are. And we look forward to see you very soon.
Ciao.